modern criminal justice system must begin to recognize that witnesses are human beings, not just sources of evidence, and they too need to be assured that the criminal justice system that we operate will give them a fair and reasonable opportunity to seek justice, not vengeance, justice. And so that is why we must constantly reform and think about our processes and procedures. Developments have gotten to the point where the UK Supreme Court granted compensation to a woman assaulted by a gentleman on the basis that the case was not properly investigated, so she was deprived of justice. That is where the thinking now is. So what we are saying then is that if we are to be true to what we're advised this morning by Bishop Ben Gucci, we need a different mindset and persons who are bold and courageous. And the question remains, are you willing to assist in rebuilding and repairing our legal system so that it is fit for purpose in the 21st century and can deliver justice to the defendant, to the victims, and to the broader society?
The justice system must assist in making an impact on the governance of the country. There can be no doubt that Jamaica's problems, somewhat like the pandemic, have multiplied and I dare say mutated over the past year. And from where I sit, we have many challenges ahead. Huge sums of money that should be used to fix roads, build houses, address problems in different areas like the justice system have to be shifted to national security and to the health sector to deal with the many problems that affect Jamaica. But notwithstanding the limited resources, this Minister of Justice is trying to do his very best to make sure that the little that is available can come to the justice system. But even with that limited resource, we're hoping, because of all these problems, every well-thinking Jamaican must double our efforts. And certainly, I want to congratulate the Chief Justice that during the past year, he issued a strategic plan for the judiciary, of which the timely delivery of justice is one of the main focus. I would like to see in my lifetime that cases can be tried within a reasonable time. All cases.
In regards to the question of Mr. David Bryan, who was accused of molesting someone in Portland and not being allowed to live in the parish, that person, he in turn was forced to live in St. Thomas, where he was being implicated in the abduction of two persons. Do you believe then that by not allowing for an individual to live in a parish to protect a victim may in turn make other persons vulnerable?
No, well, I can't speak to the specific cases. I can't comment on the case in that way.
But what about in principle?
No, the principle would have to be dealt with on a case-by-case basis. The question of bail is how you manage bail. When persons are on bail, the question is how do you manage it? And if you have tagging, then that is one way of managing it, and then it is up to the judge in the particular case to determine how best to manage it.
And what other alternatives for managing bail do you see potentially could exist?
Well, they're all there, you know. Question of where persons live, question of preventing them from going to particular communities, and so on. So it's all there. Judges have been doing this every day. So this is what judges do every day. So whenever time the question of bail comes up, the question of managing the risk that has arisen in the particular case. So the judges will have to use their discretion to determine that.
And there's a suggestion by some residents that if someone is at risk or a danger of harming another individual, they should not be given bail. What do you have to say to persons who may have that position?
Well, the Constitution starts from the presumption of innocence. So until a person is convicted, they have not committed any crime. What you have is an allegation made by someone. That's why you have trials. If you're going to be saying that someone is creating a risk, you're already determining that the person is indeed capable of harm or whatever other ill you may think that they have. So that is why you have a trial process. The purpose of the trial process is to determine whether the prosecution have proved the case against the individual. Purpose of courts is to determine what is the appropriate decision in the circumstances. Bail is just one of those things that judges have to deal with. So the judge will have to take into account all the information that's presented at that time. So that's it.
Okay, understood, Chief Justice. And just one other question, slightly off topic, in relation to ensuring security in the courtroom. We see where there is a greater push to have vaccinations and having, for example, persons in different professions to be vaccinated. Would you be in favor of having a vaccine pass for perhaps members of the Judiciary to ensure that they are operating in a safe environment?
No, I can't comment on that one way or the other because for one, it wouldn't be appropriate, and two, litigation may come out of it, and the case may come before me, so I can't have any views one way or the other on that. Sufficient until the day when the case comes into court, then we'll have a view based upon the facts, the evidence, the submissions made.